exciting.
Well, everyone's basically covered everything. Can I show the scarf?
What's that? Oh, wow.
Vivian made this.
Yeah.
It's about Julian.
It's lovely, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Vivian's written point by point the injustices about Julian's case, and we miss her dearly. And Vivian was such a courageous person, and she was really a leader. And it got me thinking about how important each and impactful courageous people are, you know, whether they're someone high profile like Julian or Vivian Westwood, or just a regular person. They have the capacity to lead and to compel. And campaigning isn't just about going on a march every few months. It's a daily thing, you know. It's about telling everyone you know, finding the right occasion, but telling people about what you care about and why you care about it. Simple as that. It's not about slogans. I think recently there's been a lot of progress in the campaign. I mean, it's been building and building, and the October Hands Around Parliament was absolutely amazing, and today again has been extraordinary. I mean, I was looking back, you know, we were behind the banner, and as far as the eye could see, there was this incredible carnival, and I was watching the people who were just, you know, going out about the town on a Saturday evening, and the response was so positive. Everyone was filming, they were trying to find out what it was about, they were engaged, you know, and I think this carnival has had an enormous impact on central London today. So yes, we were thousands marching, and many thousands more who saw the message and who are now interested and want to find out more. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And tell all your friends and colleagues and family about what a success this was today, and encourage them to come next time, because we need to build and build until the movement is so big.
You can't ignore us.
Those in power and the courts realize there's nowhere else to go but to free Julian.
Absolutely.
There's been some really wonderful events. The Belmarsh Tribunal that Jeremy Corbyn was talking about was a huge success. The press club was ram-packed. You know, it was, and the speakers were fabulous. And I think Julian's case is impossible to ignore anymore. And it might be the case that for the media, this this is being ignored here in this country, but sorry. In a way, it's because it's bigger than them. They don't know how to talk about it because it is bigger than them. And then eventually we have the joint statement by the five publications, which is a huge step forward. And I think there's a complete consensus within the media that Julian should not be extradited and that he should be freed.
Absolutely.
But the media should be speaking louder. But regardless, WikiLeaks 13 years ago started a revolution in the media. And it became bigger than The Guardian, bigger than the New York Times, bigger than Der Spiegel, right? And that's partly why Julian was attacked by those very publications in the beginning. Because WikiLeaks journalism had surpassed by a long shot what those publications had achieved and how they were doing things. And it started a revolution that we can see now. There's so much independent media. People get their news from many sources, not just one and not just the official one. And that's a healthy development. And that's in large part thanks to Julian. Julian also, through WikiLeaks, privileged the truth over commentary. Commentary is fine, as long as it's based on the truth. So there have been many very good events, the Belmarsh Tribunal, and I've been doing things like speaking to a very interesting organization that's small, but has a very good purpose, which is to demilitarize education, to stop arms companies from funding research at universities. And there's also the environmental groups who have become aware of what WikiLeaks has done to publish, to expose how oil companies and so on lobby countries to take policies that are detrimental to the environment and to the countries, detrimental to each country's individual self-interest out of for political expediency. So there are different movements that are becoming aware of Julian's importance and relevance of the WikiLeaks publications, and that actually that Julian's imprisonment is an attempt to punish the messenger for uncomfortable truths that affect all of us in many different areas of life. I think you probably most want to hear how Julian's doing.
Yes, please.
And he's in a difficult situation, and he's a very strong person. And he's human. And that means that there are good days and there are bad days. Good days is probably an overstatement, but sometimes it's easier to cope than others. And just this week, we were on the phone, and he told me that the cell above him had been flooding. So it was dripping into his cell. And specifically, there were several leaks coming onto his bed. And I asked him, well, how are you going to sleep? Because they had, the prison guards had put some buckets or something on the bed to collect the leaks. He had 3 buckets on the bed, and they were in They weren't all in one corner, they were like in different parts of the bed. And I said, so how are you gonna sleep? And he said, well, maybe if I contort my body and do like an L shape, then maybe I can sleep on the bed. And then the next day, he said the water had evaporated, but had formed some stalagmites. So this kind of cementy water had evaporated and then formed these like cement pyramids or something like that in these buckets. So that's Julian's day-to-day existence. That's what he has to deal with apart from fighting this enormous legal battle. And that's the reality of a place like Belmarsh. He shouldn't be there. And I think part of the reason why the movement to free him has so much force behind it is because it goes to very basic instincts. Because we're human beings, because we can reason, we can distinguish justice from injustice. And what Julian's going through, what's being done to Julian, is such an enormous injustice that whoever is denying it because they are part of the problem. They are part of the ones who have, for some reason, in some way, are taking part in his torture. I wanted to end in an upbeat way. And that is that I'm convinced that we will win this. There's no other way.
We will win this. We will win.
The politicians, those in charge, they know this is a political case. They know that the courts know this is a political case. It's a bit embarrassing for them, right? It's embarrassing because it is a political case. And now they've got themselves in a position where it's clear that the law has been abused, that the UK is keeping the most important political prisoner, well, the most famous and one of the most significant cases of political imprisonment in history is right here in London. And they have to find a way out. And the louder we shout, and the more we grow, the quicker Julian will be released. So I ask you to keep on campaigning for Julian, not just in the protests, but day to day, keeping on your mind, think about what you can do. And also, if you're not on the don'textraditeassange.com email list, please sign up. Read Neil Smeltzer's book, The Trials of Julian Assange. Read Stefania Marizzi's book, The Secret Power. And stay engaged, and I'll see you again.